What's up, guys? So, today we're doing something a little bit different, okay? Um, I'm going to be raising funds for the next hour and a half for one of my students, Aiden McKenzie, who's over in Scotland, and his dog is in desperate need of medical attention. And because of this whole Corona situation, they can't really get what they need. You know, they're currently driving from Inverness, which is like way up in the Highlands of Scotland, all the way down to Glasgow to get medical attention for their dog who's having like kidney problems. And I know Aiden really well. I've known him for the past like 5 years, and he's not someone who's going to ask for help unless it's necessary. Um, he's always someone who's going to pull himself up by his bootstraps, and the fact that he's asking for help on Facebook is huge. I know he's really needs it, and I know I know more so his daughter really needs it, right? And his daughter's like a niece to me, so I mean, I hate to think of her heartbroken. So for the next hour, we're gonna kind of talk Mike Tyson. We're gonna talk Andy Kaufman. We're gonna have some fun. It's gonna be a call-in show, so if you guys want to come in, give your opinions and stuff like that, you're more than welcome to. But there's links up above to donate. So if you guys could please think about doing something like that, um, that would be awesome. And if you guys want to come in and talk Andy Kaufman or Mike Tyson, go ahead and put your comment in the comment section. I'll send you a link to come on. All you need is a pair. I mean, you don't even need headphones. You just need a phone, and I'll send you a link to join up. But if you have headphones, it'll be better if we have multiple people. If not, is what it is. So I'm just going to share this a couple times, and then we'll kind of get going. So, one second. All right, perfect. So Tyson just came out saying he's back. He's coming back, right? I'm gonna find the video and I'll put it on the screen here so we can all watch it together. He did look pretty savage. I had Hector Lombard on last week. I'm gonna actually have him on Friday as well, and he's gonna talk for a few hours. But the cool thing, I mean, not the cool thing, but Hector was saying the clip that they saw last week didn't show much because there was a couple seconds and it looked like he was winded towards the end, which, dude, fucking Tyson's 52, 53 years old. I get it. You're hitting pads like a maniac, but in this one, it's much longer and you can really see the ferocity of which he's putting this stuff together. So I'm going to pull that clip up. I'm going to give my thoughts. If you want to give your thoughts, just jump in the comment section. I'm going to send you a link and it'll be a good time. Okay, so let's pull this up. All right. Let's see if I can make this full screen. Of course, we have to watch a fucking ad before this. Get out. All right, sorry guys, my dogs are going fucking crazy in here. Speaking of fucking dogs, there's that video. It was obviously like 15 seconds put on a loop. Let me get my dogs out of here. We'll keep going. Whoa, Boomer, get out. Get out. 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 Whew. Anyways, I'm back. Yeah, so, I mean, he looked fucking good, especially 53 years old. And right at the end, I'm not sure if you guys heard the audio, he said, I'm back. If Tyson's really coming back, I don't want to see him fucking fight anybody young, you know? We got Hector Lombard already for the Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship talking about wanting to fight him. I think Hector's in his 40s. I think last time I checked, he said like 38 or 42. I don't remember off the top of my head. I'll have to look that up. But, man, I don't fucking know. Like, if he comes back, the thing I'm really worried about is he said multiple times that he goes to a really dark place when he is getting prepared to fight. And he said multiple times recently he doesn't want to go back to that. He didn't like who he was when he was fighting, you know? He's fucking savage, and you can see he still has it. I mean, I don't know what the fuck he's on. I don't know what kind of testing they're going to be doing. But if this is what he's going to look like, he's not going to get a little less, TRT'd up for the fights. I think he has a good chance of doing some damage. They're talking about a possible rematch with Holyfield. That's something I'd kind of be interested to see because Evander's talked about he's coming back. So if that's going to happen, that's the kind of fight I'd want to see. You know, like, I don't know if I want to see him in bare knuckle. Part of me is like, yeah, I want to see fucking Tyson in bare knuckle. But the other part of me is like, that's really scary to see a 53-year-old man. What kind of person wants to see a 53-year-old man get in a ring with no gloves on and try to beat the shit of someone else? I think I might be that kind of person. You might be that kind of person, but it might leave a little weird feeling inside. You're like, oh shit, did we just watch a guy who's retirement age, like not like retirement for sports, like real life retirement age, get into a ring and try to beat up another retirement age man without gloves? It's gonna be fucking interesting. I got Kevin Gallagher. Oh, he's driving. Fuck yeah, he is. This is gonna be dangerous, and I love it. I'm gonna bring Kevin on here real quick to get his thoughts.
What up, brother? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I'm on the road, man. I don't know if this is gonna work or not.
That's fine. I don't need to see your face, dude. I can hear you. As long as you can hear me, this will work.
How's life? You doing all right?
Focus on the road. Yeah. Hey, we're talking Tyson. Did you see the new video of him hitting pads?
Yeah, I did, man. I mean, he looks real good hitting them damn pads. The only thing I say is, like, the pads don't hit back, and he's still got to close the distance against a resisting opponent.
100% true. And this is what I want to talk to you, because you got a good boxing background. There was a new video that came out last night. It was a little bit longer. It was a big compilation of him hitting pads. Again, like you're saying, he's hitting pads. He's not hitting someone who's hitting him back. But he looks fucking good. He looks in shape. They're talking about him maybe doing bare knuckle. They're talking about maybe a fight with Evander Holyfield. Like, what do you think about all this?
Man, I to be perfectly honest with you, as someone that came up watching Tyson fight in his golden days as a young kid, I would not want to see him come out and do a bare knuckle match or do any kind of a fight that would have anything to do with any kind of reality to it. I don't want to see him come out and do a real fight, just because I don't want to see Tyson come out as a shell of the person that he is. And particularly in a bare knuckle box, I just don't want to see him get hurt, because he's come so far in his life, and I feel like he's changed and grown so much as a person. That being said, like, if they were going to do an exhibition type match, I think what I've heard on the table, a real shot to see Tyson come back and fight, is to see him come out and fight in an exhibition type match against Evander Holyfield or against Shannon Briggs. Or I think the other guy I heard was I can't think of his name right now, but he used to be a middleweight. He fought a long time. Now he came back and fought heavyweight again. I can't think of his name, but anyway, if they come back and they fight an older fighter in an exhibition match, that the two guys don't necessarily take it as seriously, and they do it for charity. There's a possibility that good things can happen from it, and we can all get our fix to see Tyson come back and fight a little bit.
Yeah, dude, you hit it on the head because I think the same thing. Like, I don't know if I want to see him come back just because of the mindset. He said multiple times he didn't like the person he was when he was fighting, you know? And he's fucking 53. He's doing these podcasts. He's got a weed company. He doesn't need the money. There's something inside him that is telling him to come back. And I don't know if I want to see that Mike again. He seems like he's really chilled out and he's become a better person. But if he does come back, I definitely think the exhibitions are the way to go. I don't want to see anything more than 6 rounds. I love to see big gloves. But, dude, Shannon the Cannon signed a bare knuckle. So Shannon's going to be
He
fighting
did.
bare knuckle. Yeah. And the offer for Tyson was $20 million for one fight in bare knuckle. So,
but again, though, the question comes: does he really need that money?
No.
You know, I mean, Shannon Briggs, yeah, Shannon Briggs probably needs the money. Shannon Briggs could use the $20 million, and $20 million is a lot of money. But is the amount of tear and the possibility to get hurt and the idea of having to train for a big fight, is that worth it to Mike Tyson for that $20 million? And I just think the answer is no.
Yeah, I don't think it is something that I want to see. Is it something that will probably happen? Looks like it. Hopefully, he's got good guys around him that aren't going to feed him to. Because they were talking about some fucking rugby player. Like, there was an offer from $1 million against a rugby player. He'd be fucking retarded to take that.
You know, the rugby player thing makes another, because you got to remember, it's still Mike Tyson. You know what I'm talking about? And this rugby player, bless his heart, he may be a tough kid, but you're fighting Mike Tyson. If Mike Tyson hits him, he's going to kill him. But again, what's the point? What's the upside for Tyson? And there isn't really a lot of it.
Yeah, it's no upside, and I mean they're also talking about Hector Lombard for a potential fight with him, and it's like, I get it. That one makes a little bit. I mean, Holyfield and Shannon Briggs definitely make the most sense. If it's not those two, Hector makes sense too, because he's a little older as well, and he's not a boxer. And the things that I am seeing are the fact that it's a boxing match, you know, and Tyson has that level of technical ability and knowledge that an MMA fighter wouldn't have. So as long as he plays smart, moves his head, he would probably do pretty well. But yeah, I don't know how interested I am in seeing him fight bare knuckle.
The problem with Tyson is you think about him as who he is and his style as who he is as a fighter. So much of his ability to get to guys, because he's not a very tall man for a heavyweight. He's going to be going against these guys. That rugby player is probably 6'4", 6'5". Yep. So what makes Tyson, you know, all those punches you see him hitting his pads, they all look great. But unless he's able to close the distance on a taller, longer, probably way more athletic kid, he doesn't get in there to use those punches. And, you know, in his advanced age, is he really going to be able to do that with efficiency? He could barely do it when he came back from the prison stint, and that was, God, almost 15, 20 years ago.
Yeah, that's a good point, because they always say speed is the first thing you lose when you get older. But, I mean, he does look fast, but granted, it's just on the pads. The real thing is how quickly will he close the distance. And that's why I think a Hector Lombard fight makes a little bit more sense, because he's a shorter fighter already, so he's not going to be having to close as much distance, you know?
Right. One more thing just on this, and I'm going to get out of here because I'm driving. I'm about to go to my house. Like, I see a lot of this stuff about Tyson coming back, and like you said before, like Tyson, right? He doesn't need the money. He doesn't really need to do this. But there's something inside of him burning to make him believe that he can still prove to the world that he can do it. And I think as trainers and as his friends and as his family, as people that care about him, it's our responsibility to tell him that, hey, brother, you can. It's really not important for you to make that statement. You're Iron Mike. Nothing comes from this if you come back. Yeah, maybe you can submit your legacy in one way or another, but the reality of it is you're 53 years old, brother. And these younger, stronger fighters, they're going to come out there, guys that are probably a tenth of your ability, a tenth of your stature, and a tenth of the fighter that you are going to make you look bad, and it's just not worth it. The downside isn't worth the upside on this one.
100%. So when I let you go, can you do me a favor, share this? Because right now we're raising money for Aiden McKenzie. His dog's got like some kidney shit going on over in Scotland. So I'm
100%, brother.
Thanks, man. Appreciate you.
All right, no doubt, bro. Dude. See you, man. Yep.
All right. So once again, we're raising some money for Aiden McKenzie, my student over there in Scotland. He's driving down right now from Inverness to Glasgow for some emergency procedures on his dog, who's the best friend of his daughter, who's like a niece to me. So I'd love to be able to make a difference. So if you're watching this, go ahead and take a second, click the link above in the post. donate what you can. Every little bit counts. $5 here, $5 there. I hit 47,000 clicks last month, right? If half of that donates $1, he's fucking set. If 20% of that donates $1, he's fucking set. Just donate what you can. It doesn't need to be huge, but I'd love to get some help out to these people. And this is something I'm going to keep doing going forward. I'd love to get some help out to people in need and use the podcast as a way to do that. That's something I was talking about with Emil yesterday. Is we all have a certain amount of reach, you know. Some it's more than others. Maybe it's just your dog. Maybe it's just your wife. Maybe it's just your kids. You know, maybe you're an instructor at the gym and you reach multiple people. Maybe you're a huge social media presence and you reach multiple people. So everybody has the chance to reach some people and do something good. And that's what I'm trying to do today. So that was Kevin Gallagher. We were talking about whether or not Mike Tyson should come back. I think we're both on the same page. I mean, there's so many options for Tyson if he does come back. There's obviously the traditional sense of going the real promoter route of boxing, get one of the big promoters, maybe who is it, De La Hoya Promotions, what is that, Golden Boy, and go that route and do an exhibition fight with the big gloves. Bare Knuckles already come out, offered $20 million. I'm going to Google this kid's name. There was a promotion in Australia, I believe. Trying to remember the guy's name. Oh, okay. He already rejected it. It was an insulting offer. Yeah, that makes me happy. But multiple people have already put out offers for a match with Tyson. You know, this guy is Sonny Bill Williams. I guess he was a professional rugby player out of Australia. They offered Tyson $1 million to fight him. And frankly, that's what I said too. That's a fucking insulting offer. Like, Tyson can draw so much more than that. There's no way he would ever fight for $1 million. This isn't the fucking 90s, you know? That $20 million figure for Bare Knuckles, a little bit closer. They're talking about Shannon the Cannon for Bare Knuckle. There's been some tweets and some posts about Tyson and Shannon the Cannon. Let me pull them up real quick. It's interesting because there's tweets that look like they're from Dave Feldman, who's the promoter, but it turns out they were fake, saying that he would like to announce it as the main event for Bare Knuckle Fighting 12. Let me pull that screen up for you guys real quick. Then there were tweets coming out saying it's not there, but it's close. So there we go. Wrong tab. Yeah, so I mean, here's a post that looks like it's from David Feldman, who's the head of Bare Knuckle, the president. He's like the Dana White of the Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship, saying that it's going to be the main event for Bare Knuckle Fighting 12. But then recently after that, he said it's not there yet, but it's close. Let me see if I can find that tweet for you guys too. So if he really is fighting Bare Knuckle, that's fucking scary. So if you're watching right now and you have an opinion on this, drop it in the comment section. Do you guys think that Tyson should come back? And if so, do you think he should come back and fight Bare Knuckle? I mean, it's something we've always wondered. How would Tyson do Bare Knuckle? How would he do against someone else without the gloves? How would the peekaboo style do against someone like a Holyfield or a Shannon the Cannon without the gloves? Peekaboo's really interesting because you got to remember, Tyson, one, like Kevin and I were talking about, he closes the distance really well. He always did that. And like Tyson, or like Kevin was saying, towards the end, when he came back from prison the first time, he wasn't able to close the distance. Now, if you're just tuning in right now, this picture is a tweet that looked like it didn't actually happen. It looks like a fake tweet. But the fact that $20 million was offered to Tyson is true, okay? That's something that did happen. But like Kevin and I were talking about, Tyson is someone who uses his speed and athleticism and his head movement to close the distance on taller, longer fighters. At the age of 53 years old, that might not be something he has. Okay, they don't always. Speed is always the first thing that goes in a fighter. Okay, and if we're trying to get a Tyson fight and we're looking for someone who's big, like you got to remember, Tyson's not a big heavyweight. He's a short guy. He's short and stocky. He doesn't really throw jabs. He just moves his head and tries to throw these hooks and uppercuts the body and the head. And it was really effective when he was younger. The real question is, can he use that style effectively now that he's past his prime? We're not going to know until we see it. I don't think so. I think he's either going to have to fight a shorter opponent or he's going to have to adapt his style in a way that he's not used to doing. Okay? And from the pad work that he's been doing, it looks like he's trying to do the same old Tyson style. I don't think he's going to really change much. So if he comes back for a real fight, it's going to have to be against someone like a Hector Lombard or another MMA fighter who it's going to be a close fight, you know? It can't be someone who's been staying active. Like Shannon Briggs has been trying to stay active for the last few years. He was fucking trying to fight the Klitschko's recently, you know? Like he was somewhat in the title talks. So I don't know whether or not this is going to be something that happens and if it's even something that I want to happen. We're going to have some more people come in later on, but let's switch over a little bit to Andy Kaufman, right? So I don't know why it's in my head, but yesterday it fucking popped in my head. Is Andy Kaufman still alive? Because that is the greatest, could potentially be the greatest hoax of all time. So I'm not a big conspiracy theorist. If you don't know the story of Andy Kaufman, stand-up comedian, actor, professional wrestler, he did a little bit of everything. And overall, he was just a really big prankster, okay? Now, the thing with Andy Kaufman is you could never really tell when he was shooting straight. And this kind of comes from like a pro wrestling background. The term straight shooter is a pro wrestling term, meaning someone who is not doing a work, okay? So like if you're doing an interview and you're shooting, that means you're telling the truth. You're not playing a character, right? So you didn't really know whether or not Andy Kaufman was shooting or playing a character, you know? So the really interesting thing about the potential of Andy being still alive is the fact that he told his best friend, allegedly Bob Zamuda. Apparently, as the story goes, Andy called Bob up one night, 4 a.m, says, "Meet me down at this diner in LA." He goes down there, and Andy's like, "I got the idea for the greatest prank in the world. I'm gonna fake my own death, and after 30 years, I'm gonna come out and reveal myself." And Bob was like, "Andy, that is the greatest prank ever, but I want nothing to do with it. Don't speak of it to me again. If you're going to do it, do not tell a soul. Don't tell anyone. It's done." Okay? And then he got up and he left. Now, that's where it ended, allegedly, for Bob, who was his best friend and writing partner. As the story goes, Andy contracted a form of lung cancer. He refused to go under treatment. He tried to do the holistic approach, go to vegetables, go to fruit, all that fun stuff. You know, the hippy dippy shit. And then he went under emergency radiation therapy because it wasn't working. Then he decided he was going to go to like India or somewhere in the Southeast Asia to do like some mystical surgeon that doesn't cut you open, just pulls tumors out and stuff like that. And then he died in 1984, allegedly. Andy's brother, I think it's Mike. I'm trying to, let me see. Michael Kaufman. Yeah. was the first person Andy told that has cancer. Oh, all right, we got Ross on here. We're gonna talk Tyson for a second. Ross, what's up, dude?
Yo, 2 seconds. I'm just going to try and hook this up to the Bluetooth.
Yeah, you're good, dude. So we got Ross Houston, now signed with Bellator MMA, former Cage Warriors welterweight world champion. You hear me now, Ross?
Is that all working now, is it?
Yeah, it's working. You good?
Yeah, perfect. Yeah.
Hey,
I can hear you now.
what do you think about Tyson potentially coming back?
Tyson.
Mike Tyson.
Mike Tyson. I thought we were Tyson Fury or something.
Nah, not fucking Tyson Fury. Come on. It's not all about you, Brits.
Yeah. I'm not keen, man. I don't know. It seems to be quite common once fighters retire that they come back. I don't know if it's like, I'm sure he's got quite a bit of money. You know, the lifestyle that some of these guys live, I'm sure the tax that they owe is quite a lot as well. You know, so God knows, I'm not too keen, you know, because I wouldn't want. He's meant to be fighting, but I know at one point there was rumors of him fighting some NFL guy, and I'm like, Tyson should smash him, but there's some young NFL. He's a bit of a beast, and you just want to, even though it's unlikely, I wouldn't want to see Tyson get beat. You know, he's fucking 50 odd. You know what I mean?
Yeah, dude, he's fucking 53, and there's videos now that came out yesterday. So last week, a video of him hitting pads came out. Yesterday, a compilation video of him hitting mitts, ending with him saying "I'm back," came out. And like you were saying, there was this guy. He was actually a rugby player. They offered him $1 million to fight Tyson. Tyson turned that down because it's fucking $1 million. It's insulting. But bare knuckle fighting over here in the States offered him $20 million for one fight. And they're talking Shannon the Cannon Briggs.
A lot of money, to be honest, that isn't it? You know, if he's confident that he's going to smash someone, then why not? But I don't personally like him. But obviously, we don't know each person's situation. Like I said, his financial situation. I'm not too keen on the idea, but
I'm not keen on that fucking idea either. I don't think it's a money thing because Tyson does own a weed company, and he's making money. He's doing podcasts. He's doing stand-up comedy. He says he's got that fire back, and he wants to go out like a warrior. And I don't know if I want to see that, man. He's 53 years old, and being a fighter, the first thing that goes when you get older is the speed. And Tyson was someone who constantly used his speed to close the distance and fuck guys up. I don't think that's something that I want to see,
Yeah. Imagine, like I said, imagine that he gets knocked out by some player or something, you know what I mean? But that would it would be devastating, wouldn't it, man? It'd be quite sad to see. Saying that, nah. Some famous. If it was like grappling, there was some famous kind of grappler who's doing MMA. You know, he's maybe got an MMA because they can kind of go get the job. But if we're talking about a boxing fight, and he's 53 years old, so a lot of head contact. It's just going to be it could be quite nasty.
Yeah, 100%. I agree.
Or Evander Holyfield.
Yeah, they were talking about Holyfield, and they were talking about Shannon Briggs or possibly Hector Lombard because he's signed with bare knuckle fighting.
Here's the thing. See about the bare knuckle fighting as well. I'm always like, it's like completely different. When McGregor fought Mayweather's obviously worlds above him in terms of boxing ability. But see, I wonder what difference it would make. Because it's different defensively, and even in bare knuckle, it's a completely different ball game. The hand, the protect. your 8 or 10 ounce gloves, or 10 or 12 ounce gloves, whatever they wear. So I wonder what, there'd be a lot more gaps in terms of the gaps that you could find compared to. So again, I wouldn't, I don't know how good Mike Tyson would do in the bare knuckle, because you look at that poorly Miles Unani, whatever his name is, Lobov, and on paper, Artem Lobov was a decent MMA striker. He was nothing kind of like a world Foley, who's had a whole career just concentrating on working his hands, on paper should beat him, but obviously he didn't do it. I'd imagine, like, I've never had a bare knuckle fight myself, but feeling getting punched with bare knuckles, when someone catches you in MMA gloves just with a knuckle, there's a lot of different aspects.
Yeah, dude. So, it's crazy. And Tyson plays a peekaboo style.
Tyson Fury would do that with his gypsy background.
Oh, yeah, Tyson Fury would. But Mike Tyson plays that peekaboo style with his hands right here, and he really uses those gloves and that head movement. So it's really interesting to think how that would possibly translate over. So I don't know. I don't want to see it. Sounds like you don't want to see it. But, yeah.
Yeah. We don't want to see it. Nah, man. Leave Mike Tyson's a legend, man. Let him just do his acting or something.
Yeah,
and let him get fucked up.
100%. All right, bro. I'm gonna let you go. When you're done, share this post. I'm trying to raise some money for Aiden's dog, he's driving down to Glasgow right now to get like surgery on his dog because it's got kidney issues.
Aiden's dog.
Yeah, Aiden. Yeah, you probably didn't see it. He just posted.
I've not heard from him.
Yeah, it just happened. He dropped off his daughter, and I guess the dog's having kidney issues and stuff like that. So I got all the links to help Aiden out up there in the post. But he's driving down to Glasgow right now because all the vets up in Inverness are shut down with the corona stuff. So we're trying to get some money up for him.
Fuck's sake.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Yeah, I'll get that shared.
Yeah, cool. All right, Ross, I'm going to have to get you on next week.
I'll give him a call now as well.
I got Brent Primus coming on tomorrow, Bellator lightweight champ. So next week I got to get you on. We'll talk for like an hour.
Get it done, man. Get it done, brother. Yeah. I'm hopefully, like I said, I was meant to be over there in a couple of weeks fighting over in the States, but it wasn't to be.
Yeah. Did they give you a date on the new one yet?
They haven't. It could potentially be in Britain, the next one, just to get a fight because of the visa issues. But that opponent dodged a bullet, man. I was gonna make him verbal tap with a wrist lock.
That's my fucking man. Yeah. Hopefully they get you fighting soon, and hopefully these travel restrictions get up so I can come over there, because I was fucking planning on coming over there like in February, and then all this shit hit the fan.
Yeah, man. Right. We'll sort it out, brother. Peace out.
All right, man. See you. All right. So that was Ross Houston, the former Cage Warriors welterweight world champion, as well as a new signee to Bellator MMA. And he was just talking about there. He was supposed to fight Naaman Gracie over in Chicago before all this stuff happened. So that just kind of shows you where they view Ross right now in the world of MMA. Like, Naaman just fought Rory McDonald for the a spot in the finals of the welterweight tournament for Bellator. So Ross is one of the top guys in the world at welterweight. I got I got fucking Brent Primus tonight, former Bellator lightweight world champion, coming on. He's going to talk about his match with Jake Shields coming up in Submission Underground. But let's finish off the show with the Andy Kaufman stuff. Like I told you guys, Andy Kaufman allegedly died in 1984. Allegedly died of lung cancer in 1984. He only told his brother Michael at the time because that he had cancer, because he didn't want to put any more stress on the family, because his dad was already dealing with his mother dying of a form of cancer. And Michael said he was in the hospital when Andy died. He saw him emaciated. He saw him pass. And then in 2012, at the Andy Kaufman Award show, Michael revealed that he had gotten a call from someone claiming to be Andy Kaufman's daughter. And he brought her on stage, said she told all these secrets that only Andy would know about, like their secret handshake, different things they used to do as children, all that stuff. But it later turned out that allegedly the, the alleged daughter was an actress, and she was just trying to pull an Andy Kaufman style hoax over the world. But the thing that keeps people going is there have been a number of sightings. You know, it's like fucking Bigfoot. If you think about it now, Andy Kaufman died at 35 in 1984. We're 2020, okay? That's 44 years later, I believe, right? 84, 20, 2004, 36 years later. My bad. He'd be 71. If Andy Kaufman was alive today at 71 years old, who knows what he would look like? Now, the other thing we got to think about is if he really did fake his own death, and this is the thing, is Bob Zamuda came out saying, telling a story about how Andy wanted to fake his own death, and he wanted to reveal himself after 30 years, which would have been 2014. And that was the promise. Bob's end of the bargain was he wouldn't tell anyone. Andy's end of the bargain was he would reveal himself after 30 years. So Bob thinks that Andy did fake his own death. He came out and he's like, Andy didn't hold up his end of the bargain. He didn't reveal himself after 30 years, so I'm going to start telling people about this conversation we had. The thing I'm trying to get to is 30 years is a long time. So if he did fake his own death, and you got to think, 1984, technology is not the same as it is today. It'd be much easier to pull something like this off. There's people that still disappear today, you know, with all the technology and facial recognition software. There's plenty of people that disappear, start a new identity in a new country, and they're never heard from again. 1984, it's very possible. But here's the thing. If you were, there's two factors here. 30 years is a long time, and that's the key for both of these. One, if you were hiding, and let's say you were in hiding, you started a new life, and you're 15 years in, you're a very different person than when you started that 15 years ago. Your priorities have changed. Maybe you have a new family. Maybe you have a new outlook on life. Would you really want to give that all up to let people know, hey, I pulled off the greatest prank ever? There's actually three things here. Two, if you did do that, it's not technically illegal to fake your own death, but all the things that come from faking your own death are very illegal. The falsifying documents on a death certificate, insurance documents, all that fun stuff, that's all something that would have to be falsified, and you're basically committing, I forget the word for it, but you can't falsify documents for insurance. You know, it's insurance fraud. That's what it is. Especially death insurance. You know, like that. There's some money that goes out to the family and all that fun stuff. So if he reveals himself, you're also dealing with that kind of shit. Third, 30 years. He could have faked his own death, and he could have died while he was in hiding or starting his new life, you know? Like, there were rumors that he was alive in Mexico, rumors he was alive in Albuquerque, that he was seen in Southeast Asia, all this stuff. Very well could be true. And he could have died in the last, now it would be fucking 36 years. That's a long time. Car accidents, real cancer, fucking all this stuff, you know? So I don't really know. It's something that fascinates me because I've always enjoyed Andy Kaufman's work, especially his feuds in pro wrestling with Robbie the King Lawler, or not Robbie, Jerry the King Lawler. And his I'm From Hollywood, he was in Taxi, all that fun stuff. So it's very interesting to think about. I'm going to end the show on that. Just think about it, you know? And also, this is all to help raise some money for my student Aiden, who's in an emergency situation with his dog and all that fun stuff. So if you can, the links to help him out are above. Go ahead and just drop a little bit of money, $5 here, $10 there, helps a lot, especially when you're dealing with someone who is traveling across their country to get vet help for their dog. So appreciate you guys tuning in, helping out as you can. I'm going to keep trying to do some more of this stuff. Once a week, I'm going to start doing something where I can help people out. It may not always be financially. I'm thinking about doing something where I'm using my reach to showcase up and coming fighters, up and coming jiu-jitsu athletes and stuff like that. I actually got this idea from my buddy Sonny Parlin. I guess there's someone, because Sonny's a music writer. I guess there's someone in the rap scene who has a pretty big following, and once a week they have a show where they highlight people's new music and stuff like that. You send him like $10 and he'll play your music on and give it a review. You know, I might do something like that where I help guys out who are trying to get some extra push in their jiu-jitsu career, their MMA career, want to get in front of a big audience, want to get in front of promoters and stuff like that, where I review their fights and kind of talk them up a little bit on the podcast. I think it's gonna be something I do once a week, just to give back a little bit. And if you have a cause that's worthy and needs some help, some push, and could just use some talking about, reach out to me. I really want to start putting everything forward a little bit, you know, putting everything out there in the universe to just do some more good. You know, I talked about it with Emil last night. I talked about it on the show. I'm going to say it one more time. We all have a reach. We all have a following. We all impact people, some more than others. But just taking what you have and doing the most good with it is kind of what I want to start doing more of, at least going forward, you know? So on that note, I'll see you guys later tonight for my interview with Brent Primus, 8 p.m. Eastern time, and it's going to be a good one.